Bismillah.
I just
No.
waiting for one is joining now.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillah.
Marv, is Moulana explain that other part, or must I just carry on?
You can carry on to the next fasal. Yeah.
Marv, I can't hear Moulana properly.
You can carry on with the new chapter.
Okay,
We'll go back
Bismillah.
up.
Can Moulana hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Marv, my headphones are just giving me a story right now. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. فصل في تعريف طريق المراد بالنصوص. So the chapter with regards to understanding that which is the means of that which is intended from the text. So اعلم أن لمعرفة المراد بالنصوص طرقا. So know that the means of understanding what is in the text is of different ways. منها أن اللفظ إذا كان حقيقة لمعنى ومجازا لآخر. So the word, if it is haqiqi, if its meaning is the meaning of majaz and haqiqi to the other, then فالحقيقة أولى, and the haqiqa will be the one which is given preference. مثاله ما قال علماؤنا. The example of this is what our ulama say. البنت مخلوقة من ماء الزنا يحرم على الزاني نكاحها. So a daughter which is created from the water of zina, it will be haram on the zani to marry her. وقال الشافعي يحل, and the Shafi'i, Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah says it is allowed. والصحيح ما قلنا لأنها بنته حقيقة, and the correct way is that what we say, because the daughter is حقيقي, it's a حقيقي meaning. فتدخل تحت قوله تعالى, so it will come on underneath what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, حرمت عليكم أمهاتكم وبناتكم, that haram forbidden upon you is your mothers and your daughters.
Yeah.
ويتفرع منه
So
الأحكام.
we're just completing the chapter on Nahi. We're going back to that last sentence there, inshallah. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم رب اشرح لنا صدورنا ويسر لنا يفقهوا علينا. So بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So the last part, لأن we mentioned that a person who is maktoof بالقذف, a person who was slashed because they had given false testimony with regards to they had falsely accused the chaste woman, and they could not prove that accusation, they would be lashed. And secondly, they
just breaking up on my side, I can't hear anything.
Okay. So I was saying that a person who accused a chaste woman of zina, unable to prove their claim, they will be lashed by the Sharia, 100 lashes, and then also their testimony in future will never be accepted. So the Ahnaf say that they can still bear witness, but they can't give testimony. They will not be able to say what they were witness to, should any dispute arise. So based upon that, we say, وَعَلَى هَذَا لَا يَجِبُ عَلَيْهِمُ اللِّعَانِ, that on such people, li'an will not become necessary. What is li'an? So li'an is on the scale of fi'al. Fi'al is one of the masadir, one of the masters of mufa'ala. قاتل يقاتل مقاتلة وقتالا, مثال فعال. So li'an means from the word la'na, to curse each other. But as you know, mufa'ala, one of the khasiyat is to show an action taking place from two sides. Daraba means to hit. Daraba means to hit each other, and so on and so forth. And so li'an, to curse each other. What does this mean? So this is in the case where a person, not any person, but a husband. So the Sharia has two sets of rules. If a person, a stranger, accuses a woman of zina, he has to prove it via four witnesses. But if the husband accuses his wife, husband accuses his own wife of zina. So because of the sensitivity of such an act, now obviously you're not going to go and run and go and fetch four witnesses or three other people to come and see your wife involved in a wrong act. No person will want to do that. Understand, embarrass himself by going to fetch three other people to come and see what his wife is doing. Okay? So because of the sensitivity surrounding in this particular case, the Sharia has said that if a husband accuses his wife, then in that case they will each, and she denies it, will have to take 5 qasams each, right? Five, they have to bear witness 5, or take 5, bear witness 5 times, taking an oath each time. So they will say that what did I bear witness, that in this matter that I'm accusing my wife of, I am telling the truth by Allah, wallahi, I am telling the truth. So 4 times you'll do this. And in the 5th instance, he will say that if I am lying, then may the curse of Allah Ta'ala be upon me. If I'm lying in what I'm accusing her of, then may the curse of Allah Ta'ala be on me. And she will do the same thing. She will take 4 oaths to say that what I'm being accused of is incorrect. And then the 5th one, she will say that if I am lying in my denial, then the anger of Allah Ta'ala be upon me. That's called li'an. In the 18th Juz, Surah An-Nur, the laws are mentioned there briefly. Understood that?
Ji.
So because li'an is a type of shahada in your favor and against your opponent, in this case the husband against his wife or the wife against the husband. So because it is a type of shahada, they will not be allowed to make li'an as well. Why? Because they are not ahlul shahada. If such a person was maghdub, if he was or she was previously found guilty of false accusation against a chaste woman, and they were lashed for it, then such people cannot participate in li'an because again, they cannot give testimony. Understood?
Ji.
Ji.
لأن ذلك أداء الشهادة. Why? Because ذلك li'an is an expression, or it is a testimony. It is a type of testimony, and there is no ada. There's no way for a fasik to express that testimony. There's no way for a person to give testimony together with the guilt of this. Understood that?
Ji.
Okay, so that completes that particular chapter with regards to Nahi. Now we're going on to a new chapter. In this chapter here, the author is going to discuss, as mentioned in the first sentence, the ways in which we are able to derive laws from the Nusus, from the Quran and Sunnah. Now, although he's saying ways of deriving, in reality, these are just pointers, so to speak, because we've accumulated quite a lot of knowledge now with regards to the words. But how do we go about actually extracting Messiah? So these are just a few guidelines, not everything, a few guidelines as to how the fuqaha go about deciding what to do and how to extract the masala. If you've got a khas clashing with for example, or you've got hakikat versus majaz muta'arif and so forth, how do they go about choosing one of those two things? So these are just some pointers, some guidelines. Some of the things will be repetition of what you did before. Some of it is repeat, but some of them are new. So فصل في تعريف الطريق المراد بالنصوص. This is a chapter which defines the manner of extracting the meaning that is derived by the nusus, by the text. That is the Quran and the Sunnah. But again, like I said, these are actually just pointers, okay? A few pointers as to how you go about doing it. So you can number it as you go along. اعلم أن لمعرفة المراد بالنصوص طرقان. And know very well, O student of Deen, that for coming to know what is the intent of the text, the Quran and the Sunnah, there are many ways to Quran. There are many avenues, there are many ways. Number one, منها أن اللفظ إذا كان حقيقة لمعنى ومجازا لآخر فالحقيقة أولى. The number one in the point, number one, what you call guideline is in no specific order. Number one is that if a word has a hakiki meaning and a majazi meaning. Okay? So if a word, for that word there is a hakiki meaning, then what's the English translation again? Uh,
Is it literal?
Lateral, jazakallah. A literal meaning, it also has a metaphoric meaning, and hakiki and majaz. Or then, so in that case, what do we give preference to? So we say for hakika to awla. In that case, then we will take the literal meaning. So as far as possible, wherever the literal meaning is possible for us to take, we will take the literal meaning and not unnecessarily go to the majazi meaning. There are two exceptions to this rule. And number one, if there is an indication in the ayah not to take the hakiki meaning. If there's an indication in the ayah or the hadith that in this instance here, the majazi meaning is preferred, then we'll go along with, with that indication, with that hint in the ayah or the hadith, number one. And number two, second exception is if the majazi meaning is muta'araf, is more popular than the literal meaning, then we will go along with the majaz muta'araf and we will not take the hakiki meaning. This we've done before, this repetition, the revision of what we've done before. Okay, so wherever possible, we will take the hakiki meaning, with the exception of these two instances. Now I'll give you an example. مثاله ما قال علماؤنا عليهم الرحمة. This example is what our ulama rahmatullah alayhim have said. البنت المخلوقة من ماء الزنا يحرم عزان نكاحها. That daughter that was born out of Maya obviously refers to the semen of the male. It was born out of the water of zina, meaning the ejaculation of zina. Then yahrumu ala zani nikahwa. And later on, that zani, the biological father, did not claim that girl to be his, and he didn't get married to the woman that he had zina with within a specific time period. So she gave birth to a daughter, the Maznuna. She gave birth to a daughter. The daughter grew up, and now they met each other, father and biological daughter, and he wants to get married to her. Okay? So we will say that this is haram. This is haram upon the Zani to get married to her, even though Shar'an he is not recognized as his daughter. Even though we say that girl has no connection with him, has no nasab with him, has no what you call no relationship to him as far as the nasab is concerned. Okay? Um, Still, he's a biological father. So although he's not recognized as the father nasaban, as far as the genealogy is concerned, genealogical is concerned, he is his daughter biologically. Okay? وقال الشافعي رحمه الله يحل, and Imam Shafi'i رحمه الله says it is permissible for him to get married to her. Now again, I want to caution you, this does not necessarily mean that this is the Shafi madhab, right? You will not find the Shafi madhab in the Hanafi kitabs and vice versa. To understand
If
and to know what the Shafi madhab is, you must go and ask the Shawafi or go into their kutub themselves and check there. Okay? So is this
Maulana,
yeah?
I wanted even to ask now because he shocked me.
Yeah, so
Like,
yeah, so you can ask the Shawafi if that's either the masla according to them or not, okay? So anyway, والصحيح ما قلنا, and the correct opinion is what we have said. Why? لأنها بنت وحقيقة. Because there's two meanings to the word bint. It comes in the ayat. حرمت عليكم أمهاتكم وبناتكم. That list at the end of the fourth juz. And so there's a long list of maharim there. So second mentioned there after mothers, your mothers, is banat bint. And then your daughters are also haram upon you. They are your maharim. So the word bint has two meanings. That girl who is your daughter, nasaban, genealogically, she is your daughter. And everybody knows that she's your daughter. Urfan also, everybody knows that this is so and so's daughter, so and so wife. Okay. And also that girl that is biologically your daughter, even though you have not claimed her as your daughter Nasaban, she was born out of you and from your sperm. So she has genealogical ties to you. Everybody, even in common society, will say that this is so and so's daughter, but he has not recognized her, whatever the case is. And this is actually so and so's daughter. And even in common society, we will do so, even though the father didn't actually claim the girl to be his daughter or acknowledge her to be his daughter. So لأنها بنت حقيقة, because this girl is his daughter in reality, meaning biologically. فتدخل تحت قوله تعالى, so therefore she will be included under the statement of Allah Ta'ala, حرمت عليكم أمهاتكم وبناتكم, that your mothers and your daughters, etc., are all haram, have been made haram upon you. You need to get married to. حرمت عليكم نكاح. Again, اقتضاء الناس. Again, اقتضاء الناس. نكاح أمهاتكم وبناتكم till the end. Understood that?
جي.
Now, based upon this original masala, if it's correct, then we find all secondary masala relating to it will also be different between the madhab. ويتفرع منه الأحكام على المذهبين, and the following ahkam will be extracted based upon the two ways, the two paths. من حل الوصل ووجوب المهر ولزوم النفقة وجريان التوارث وولاية المنع عن الخروج والبروز. Such as the permissibility to have intercourse with the girl now. We will say no, Imam Shafi will say yes. Or wujub al-mahar, the compulsoriness of giving the mahar or not. Luzum al-nafaqa, the compulsoriness of giving expenditure or not. Wajiryan tawarus, whether they will inherit from each other or not. So, right, so those who say that she is his wife, all of this will be yay. And those who say not his wife, all of it will be nay, will be no. Okay? وَوِلَايَةُ الْمَنْعِ عَنِ الْخُرُوجِ, and the authority to prevent her from leaving the house. Khuruj and buruz means the same thing. And buruz is the bayan of khuruj. For her to emerge from the house, to leave the house without his permission. He has the right to stop her and prevent her from doing so. So that is the one. So Wamina is number two now. So every time he discusses another guy, then he'll say Wamina, Wamina, and he'll try on the guy. You following?
جي.
Completed the one guideline, inshallah. It's 20 past 6 now, so we'll stop here. Once it comes to about 6:30, then we'll kind of carry on a bit more till maybe 25 past or so. Is this enough time for you to get to the masjid and whatever?
جي مولانا.
Okay,
جي.
inshallah. So we'll stop there, inshallah. Inshallah, hopefully next week we can continue, inshallah. Ibn ta'ala. So the Friday coming up also, inshallah. Recite al Surah Kaf and make dua for yourself, for your parents, for your asatiza, for the Ummah, and for the Palestinians and all those that are happening around the world. سبحان الله بحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت عليكم ورحمة الله
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.